Hey everybody, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Hey, so you guys know we were sitting here hanging out, chit-chatting, getting ready for the live, and my wife bit me. She actually leaned over and bit me.
You
So you
should
think
ask
about
yourself why.
Well, you notice that she didn't deny it, right? Yeah. Anyway, let's get some hellos in tonight. Helen was the first one in. Good evening to you. Half the greatest name on the internet
Half of a lot of fun.
is in the house. The beautiful Louise Wesley has joined us this evening.
Good job.
Yep. Terminator, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you here. Jane, welcome in. Carrie Davis says, greetings to my village. No, I mean vintage. Yeah, I think she might be in one of those ornery moods tonight. I don't know. Let's see here. Paula is in the house with her husband, Kent. Good to see you guys. Let's see here. Dana Green, welcome in. Lisa, good to see you. Beth Emily, good to see you as well. My buddy Sharpshooter's in the house. And no live is complete.
Without a pack rat.
That's right. See, I almost have her trained, you guys. We are just getting so close. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness. Life with Mike and Jen are here. Well, I'm assuming that it's Jen. Typically, that's who it is Jen. Well, at least on that one. Mario jumps in. Obviously, we'll say hello to him as well. Mary Michelle, good to see you. Let's see here. The King, Jeff, Juicy, Hefty, Lefty, Amazon, Mud Dauber, Slick. Luke, Phyllis is in the house. Right, we added Phyllis.
Phyllis.
Yes, because his beautiful bride calls him Phyllis sometimes.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Tamara Smith, hello, hello. Yeah, Jen says, but why did she bite you?
You have to ask yourself, right?
You do. You absolutely do. Ricky Dicky Dog Rhymes, what's up? Good to see you. Palmetto Paratrooper, hello, hello. Tina Conkle, welcome in. Darren E. Jones, good to see you. JB, greetings from hilly Kansas, where things are warming up. Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to go through a bunch of that, aren't we? And of course, we have to say hello to Betsy De La Rosa. Good to see you. I think I'm caught up, at least for the moment, right?
Yep.
What do you got on your plate to talk about tonight?
I thought we were going through your pictures because I don't know what you have pictures of.
Well, let's just stay away out. Pretty much just your garden
Whatever.
stuff.
So, well, one of the things I wanted to say, thank you for the continued support and cards and prayers and such that I have received from the passing of my mom. You guys are all very kind, and it's heartwarming to know that you guys take the time out of your day to send me well wishes. It's makes me feel good.
Yeah, you gotta love that. One step closer. How you, buddy?
I did get worked on my mom's obituary today. Like it's only been a month.
Right.
I thought my sister was going to do it, and so
I was gonna say, you're really squared away.
she said she was going to do it. So she's going to send me what she has, and then I'm going to send it in.
And she didn't?
She said she's going to send it today.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put whatever I have together with it. And then, you know what? Something I thought, my mom told me that she had 13 siblings, or there was 13 of them. And I typed that up in a little thing and sent it to my uncle. And he goes, actually, my uncle didn't catch it. My uncle was like, look, looks good. Did a good job, sweetheart. My aunt I sent it to goes, I don't know where you got 13 kids. There's only 5 of us. And I was like, 5? Who's like Aunt Regina? Who's Uncle Harold? Who's these people? She hasn't responded. I'm like, who are all these people that we called aunts and uncles like growing up then? She was like, no, it's just this Jim and Chris and Dort and me. And I'm like,
so La La Land started with you at a young age.
Who are these people we called aunt and uncle? We went to their houses. We like swam in their pools. Who are these people?
Cotton candy, rainbow, and fairy farts. It starts at a young age.
I guess in my family.
Yeah, world famous Nitos is in the house. Good to see you as well.
Learning all kinds of things.
Learning all kinds of stuff. Hey, one of the things that I've been working on lately, I've spent pretty much this entire week in my office. I haven't been outside almost at all. Just doing whatever just had to be done. Other than that, we've pretty much been inside, and I've had a lot of work stuff that have been going on. I've also been working on logging all of the things that have gone on in the community and the things that we want to go on in the community. And it's been a huge task. The good news is I had a lot of it already, but so I've been spending a little bit of time on that. And then I thought also locally, I would start an education campaign on some of the local pages and like Facebook and some of those things, helping people understand their rights. And so
That's actually really good.
Yeah. And so, little things,
And
every
differences between things that you're like, oh, I have to do that. And you're like, no, not necessarily.
Well, it's constitutional rights, babe, but there's also other things too, like what is the roles of a county commissioner? Not what the county commissioner says their roles are, not what they say their power is, but what is the actual, in Kansas law, for example, what are the actual duties? And so I'm going to spend maybe once every other day or every third day, I'm going to get up and I'm going to post a question. And like tonight I did the First Amendment. And, many people, if you ask 100 average people, what's the First Amendment? What they'll tell you is, oh, it gives me free speech.
Freedom of speech.
But the thing is, you have to understand is it's so much more than that. It gives you the freedom to worship as you see fit. It gives you the freedom to petition your government. It gives you the freedom of free press. Did you guys know that the Constitution issues you your press credentials? You don't need press credentials. There's no governing body that issues press credentials. The Constitution guarantees those. And so by understanding what your rights are, I think we help preserve our rights for longer. So I'm going to continue to work on that and see if I can make even the smallest of dents in my local geographical community that I live in. I think it'll be beneficial long term.
I think that's a good idea.
Let's real
Good
quick.
job.
Hey, my buddy Jesse Thomas is in the house. What's up, buddy? We have a great video of him on a bike launching off of a ramp into the pond, which was pretty cool. Let's see here. Bird's eye view. Good to see you. Did I get everybody? Hold on. I thought I seen. Anyway, we'll just go right there. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? No, I don't think so. One Step Closer says journalism is an activity, not just a profession. 100%. And, there's a lot of things as time wears on. I'm hoping I can engage the conversation. Things like you can film legally because of that. You can film in any public space that's not restricted. So you could walk right into a courthouse. You can walk right into any public place that tax dollars pay.
You said it's not restricted.
It's not restricted. So like if you watch videos on YouTube, you'll see a lot of people getting arrested because they're like filming outside of, let's say, a police station, for example, or whatever it is. And as long as they stay in the easement, right, public property, they can film because the eyes can't trespass according to the law. And in fact, Department of Homeland Security released a memo, I think in 2022, reiterating that the eyes can't trespass. And so it's good to know what your rights are. I have no urge to go stand in front of my police station and film. I got better things to do. But the point is you can. And I think we need to be exercising our rights. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
Hey, Silver Lining, what's up? Good to see you. Jesse says, and I've got a great video of you spitting fire. Yeah, Leela Eubank, welcome in. Good to see you. So anyway, what's on next on your list?
I don't know. Let's go through your pictures and then
You can go through some farm pictures first. We can do that.
yeah, that's what was on my list.
A lot of people don't know this, but B don't know what I'm putting in the live till I do.
That's a little mama guinea this is a different mama guinea.
Mhm.
This one has, I think I counted 7 little babies there.
Yeah, so remember how we were showing you guys in the last live before, there was a mama who hatched a bunch of babies in our food forest. There was like 14 of them running around with this mama. Well, now there's another one. And she's got how many?
7.
And she's got 7 babies.
So the other one is bringing her babies twice a day over to the turkey coop to eat food. And she had them up on top of the turkey run, and a couple of the babies went inside of the enclosure.
Mhm.
And so I went in there to help get those guineas out, those guinea babies. They're wild, so I've never touched them before. I caught them because they were trapped inside of the turkey coop. So I trapped them, and as I caught one, it squealed so loud that the dog was outside the pen and the door was shut so that nobody could come in. And I don't know if it's the mom guineas, but 2 guineas came over and attacked the dog. Started like stomping or pinching, I guess, with its feet
On its back?
on her back, and was flapping its wings very fast. And, Rose was like trying to get away, but she ended up having to run through the barn. So out of the yard, through the barn, and across the field to get that turkey or that guinea off of her back. So I've never seen a guinea, I guess, attack anything before, but they do. They're, I guess, very useful when their babies are being. I wasn't harming it. I just picked it up, and because I picked it up, it was not happy that I touched it. So I opened the door and tossed it out, and it went over to the third guinea that was still in the yard, and it stopped. But I've never seen them do that.
And since when are you Kermit's proctologist?
Yeah, that's so I tied up the tomatoes, and I had the little gloves on. So they're to cover my arms, but I have to use my fingers to use my machine, the tape, to tie them up. And so I had taken the gloves off, or not the gloves, they're like sleeves, I guess. So I took the sleeves off, and I was like, oh my gosh, that green, it's like the black still hasn't come off around my fingernails. My fingernails are like gross looking from tomatoes, tying up the tomatoes. Isn't that crazy?
I think it's great.
You're all crusty.
Hey, Lazy Loper, welcome in. Squatchy, welcome in. RN, good to see you. Redneck, what's up, my friend? And Local Preppers in the house says, what is going on? Well, we were having a conversation about guineas, green fingers, and our constitutional rights.
You can see my tractor over there is still parked. I'm going to have to start mowing around it.
Tell this story. This is hilarious.
That is crazy. It rained like really hard. Like all of a sudden really hard. And I went out to do chores, and there was a drowned chicken inside the feed scoop. The feed scoop was just sitting right there. Well, it was on the concrete, and I guess it blew kind of off the concrete, but it was like kind of tilted up at an angle, which apparently collected water. And this chicken, I have no idea. I have no idea how this happens. This is my life, though. I'm like, how? In the whole yard, you could go.
And they managed to drown themselves in a scoop.
In a scoop. Yeah, this was a significantly small chicken.
Yeah.
But
Local Purposes, yeah, that's super odd. Hey, Rhonda Benefield, good to see you. Welcome in. And what's this? What you got going on? Are you guys picking up eggs?
Yeah, there was a turkey nest inside the.
Yeah, that's Jess from American Roots.
Inside the calf hut. And the dog went in there and buried the eggs in the, well, it was like softer. It wasn't really muddy, but it was wet because it had rained so much, and that dirt was very loose. And so the dog went in there and pushed all of that dirt up over those eggs. And so she was getting ready to start a batch of eggs in the incubator. And I said, hey, there's some eggs over there if you want them.
Yep, Skanes Girl says, I'm driving almost to Fayetteville. She's headed up here this weekend.
Yep, be safe.
Yeah, I think the thing about this is just the life. It's just what it is. And I have to compliment you. You and a lot of the other girls, a few of the other girls have done an exceptional job using your bird resources for the benefit of everybody. You guys have done a lot of that this year. And I think that's super, super cool.
Yeah.
Terminator says, Tag, have you ever caught a fish using a banana peel for bait? I have not. No.
What a great thing to use, because you're not gonna eat it.
No, but the animals love them.
The turkeys do.
Turkeys love bananas. I've never understood why, but they absolutely 100% love bananas.
This is my dill. I have one plant that is still.
I took these pictures are pretty much the same day.
Yeah. So that's one plant of dill, and then the other plant is already gone to seed. And these were the seed heads that these are about half of the seed heads that were available, and I picked them
Yeah.
I've been harvesting them. I have
Yeah,
about
and
like,
you and Mother of Cupcake took those buckets and cleaned up all the seeds, right?
yeah, there's like 3 cups of dill seed there. That's I will have plenty to spread around and share, and,
Well, and you'll cook with some of
also
it too,
put
right?
some in
Yeah.
my pickles, and
Yeah, and those kind of things. Yeah, you got lots of stuff that are being harvested.
that's the other. Yeah, that's the first.
That's the other half of the. I took this picture today.
Yes, so that's the dill that I got the seed from. That's the
Right.
second plant.
Yeah, in the same
The
place.
first plant is pretty green with
Yeah.
yellow flowers on it, and this one is all spent and drying up.
Yeah. Look at those
Yeah,
tomatoes.
the tomatoes got them all tied up. They were laying on that black paper. It's
Yeah.
not paper, plastic, whatever.
Yeah, and that row is about 100 feet long, and then on both sides. So that is and these aren't even her only tomatoes, but
No, this one's like 68 feet.
is it?
Yeah.
Did you measure it? And it's
Yeah, I
long.
have it mapped out.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 rows, and then so the right side row is all Amish paste, and the left side row is, well, that's the way it was supposed to be. I think we actually ended up going in and
Hey, look at that, my buddy Mo.
planting in a couple when
Mo wants to
Jen
know if
wasn't
deal is
looking.
perennial.
Yeah, it'll come back.
Well, but the root don't come back; it reseeds itself.
It reseeds itself.
Yeah, so
I don't
technically it's an
think it
annual,
does.
right?
Yeah,
I think dill is technically an annual, but it reseeds itself.
I think that's right.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Silver Lining said harvested some elderberry this week, but haven't forked them yet. Well, B has been saving elderberry for you to fork for a while now.
So I did harvest a little
I've
bit.
got a picture.
But they're not black yet.
Hey, Dave and Sonia, Michigan. How are you? There's a good YouTube channel you guys should check out. Local Prepper. You guys should go check out. Make sure you subscribe. And when you get there, tell him that Tag sent you.
When are you coming up, Silver Lining?
I think I got like 4 pictures. Look at that. How cool are those tomato plants? One thing that I've noticed about this year is her plants are huge, right? They have grown great. They're super green. They're rocking and roaring, but they do not have the number of tomatoes I would expect to be on them.
Well, it's just they're just starting. I think.
I know it's early, and there's still lots of blooms and
Yeah.
blah, 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 but I would have just suspected.
Settle your horses there.
You gonna bite me again?
No.
Okay.
You're
Jen
not on
says
the line yet.
some Juliet tomatoes.
I thought the Juliets were over in
Yeah, they
Garden 1.
Yeah, I got a picture of those too, but yeah. So it won't be long, and those tomatoes will be fully grown over that arch, and then it'll be really, really nice to harvest. Oh, look at that! Sharpshooter said I got 15 pounds of elderberry done today, about halfway there. Yeah. Local Prepper said I'm going to be live in 45 minutes, and I'm giving away stuff. Well, you like that?
Everybody loves
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep. Here's a link, you guys, right here. Local says love the garden. Oh yeah, it's just rocking and roaring. Now here's your other ones.
These are the Juliets.
Yeah.
And I think on the opposite side of this row is the tie-dye tomatoes.
You notice how these are not anywhere near as tall as the other ones?
They are not.
They are absolutely not. Okay, what's that?
That's my fig.
Yeah,
And I have figs on them. Did you see?
I didn't.
I have fruit. I have fruit on my fig. Like the size of a marble.
Yeah, Jen says I couldn't remember where, but I remember we planted some. Yeah.
Yep.
What do you got going on there?
It's like got a bean.
You got a bean.
And that bean is a yard long. So we got these bean plants from the greenhouse over on the res, and these were donated to us. The beans were, so I'm not exactly certain what kind of beans they are. They're obviously not ready yet.
Are these in the gardens or the food forest?
It's in the garden.
Yeah. One really cool thing about when you get a whole bunch of extra plants you don't count on, you just stick them places.
And these zinnias are Buffalo Seed Company zinnias.
Yeah, Mo says I have already threw away a couple hundred tomatoes, pruning reasons. Oh yeah.
Pruning.
Yeah. Local Prepper says you definitely need to post pics when the green stuff connects at the top of the hoop. Oh, we will. Yeah, Local Prepper, I try every single Friday to do a whole bunch of pictures from the gardens because I think growing your food is it's like the one part of sovereignty you can't buy your way out of. It's like all the rest of them, you can buy your way through them, but food, you got to hustle your way through them. You know, you got to work your way through them because it's, you know, and it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, you know. So I would say food independence is the hardest of all of them. I've been making pear preserves too. Oh, cool.
Ooh, yeah.
I bet those are good. There you go, baby.
Yeah, they're getting there. See, they're not black yet.
Mm-mm. She has so many elderberry. I think I got a couple pictures in here. Oh no, maybe they do them somewhere else. Have you harvested any elderberry yet? You haven't.
Right? I took one little array or whatever you call the little fan, the little umbrella. But no, I haven't harvested much. They're not quite ready. This is Becky's lavender. So I've got Becky's lavender and Buffalo Seed Company zinnias.
One Step Closer said, we've been getting tons of cucumbers and peppers lately. We're getting cucumbers. We're not getting many peppers yet.
We haven't gotten any peppers, but there are peppers on the plant, just not ready yet. These are Jen's strawberries. I love that. I've heard like all the stuff I have is like, this is Hitch's horseradish.
Yeah.
These are Jen's strawberries. Yeah. These are the the one that starts with the H. Okay.
It's a strawberry.
Yeah, they're red.
B is starting to take the runners, and you guys can see all the little pots. Her and Jen spent some time potting all of the runners so that she can continue to spread out her.
Yeah, my husband is like, get these out of here. I want these in the food forest. And I'm like, I was going to put them here. And he was like, I don't want them here. I'm not doing gardening. I'm not the gardener, but I don't want them here.
No, it's not that I don't want them there. It's that the problem is
put them in the food forest.
The animals have access to them here.
They do.
That's the thing. I don't mind them being there, babe. But if you would go and take all of these strawberries, dig all of them up, take them all up, spread them all over the food forest, you'd have a strawberry harvest that would compete with anybody's because they would have no pressure.
Under pressure.
I mean, so who's Becky?
We can't have strawberries like everywhere.
Yes, we can.
No, I don't want to. Growing up, we had one long row, a whole strawberry bed, and we went to the strawberry bed to harvest the strawberries. We didn't have to go rummaging around like Easter looking for eggs for one strawberry here.
And there's a place for conventional farming, and there's a place for a food forest.
I understand that, but it's also convenient for the person who's tending them and harvesting them to go to one area and harvest them. Instead of looking for a bunch of different places.
Becky is a friend of my wife's who lived here for a while regionally, but
she moved to Canada.
She moved to Canada. She's on the live sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see here.
When she moved to Canada, she gave me a couple of she gave me a lot of stuff. And that lavender is one of them.
Nito says strawberries are great ground cover for food forest. See, that's what I think too.
Nitos.
Thank you, Nitos. Thank you. And I know this is 100% right. And she has so many beautiful plants, so many. You could literally use these strawberries as ground cover for a whole bunch of the food forest.
I'll plant them in a whole bunch of areas, and then the grass will come up around them, and then I'll lose them.
No, they'll keep the grass down.
Them. No, they don't. Look, I mean, they really don't.
Carrie says, "Tag you lose." Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for the support. Cool naming plants and animals. Yeah. All right. Those are sweet potatoes, right?
Those sweet potatoes. Yep.
There's a big old row of them. I got about half of the row in my picture.
And I had to weed this, right? This doesn't just stay like this. Actually, Jen came over and helped weed this.
Why do my pictures do this? Anyway, I'll just skip that one. Look at that.
That's a pear.
You've got about 5 on that tree.
And a pear tree.
Yeah, we have a new pear tree that's starting to produce, and there's about 5 of them on there. So this is
I can't wait.
First year producing tree. And on that topic, the trees, every single fruit tree we bought this year, we bought like 28 this year, right? I think I remember right, about 28, and they're all doing great. Every one of them. Which
so far, so good.
I've never had a year where at this point all 28 were doing good. Usually you'd plant 28, and the first year you're going to lose a few, and you just keep going through it. But this year it seems like all of them are doing really, really well. So I'm super excited about that. Well, yeah. I mean, how much money's been invested in the trees?
No, I don't.
Cotton candy rainbows.
Do you know?
Fairy farts. Oh, yes.
You're keeping
What's that?
Keeping score. That's a moringa.
Oh, look at that moringa
That's a
tree.
Jen moringa.
Mm.
There's a 2 right there. 1, 2.
Yep. Yep. But you turn your phone off.
It was. It vibrated. That's hyssop.
Hyssops.
And there's another fig tree next to it on the.
Is that a fig tree right there?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
That's hyssop anise.
All right.
Smells like licorice.
Yeah, look how green everything is. You can see the community building kind of in the back right corner a little bit.
And all that Cerisa lespedeza.
Yep. Yeah, here, I don't
This
know why
was-
they got them together,
I
but
don't know
this
what
tree
happened.
died. We don't know why.
It was an elderberry.
But what's funny is that you guys can see the other green inside of it. It's not all dead.
Right. It's like one part of the plant.
Yeah. And we don't know what got to it.
It
but,
was obviously, attacked by something because you could see though down the road there's another one.
yeah, we need to
It's
get in
like
there.
that species.
Yeah, you need to get in there and get them all cut out of there. All the
Yeah.
dead stuff.
Someday.
Yeah, there's another one. Now, you guys look down, that's a row of elderberry. If you guys look down that row, she will be harvesting elderberry.
How wide do you think that plant is?
8 feet. Probably.
I'd buy that for $1.
That's good. So she'll be in the elderberry business soon.
I'd propagate that.
I know you would. What do you got there, babe?
I think that likes experiment or something.
That's mint, right?
Yeah.
All that different mint that you've been cutting off of to put in the chicken coop.
And then there's like yard lilies in the middle of it,
Mhm.
which I didn't think that one through. I need to move those. I need to move those lilies somewhere else.
You don't say.
I know. It's kind of how it happens. You're like, oh, when you're first thinking about it and you're like, oh, I'll put this and this together. This looks good. Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Later you're like, why did I do that?
Then you get variety.
Mm,
Beautiful lilies.
lilies.
I like that picture.
And a lot of these are from my dad's house that I would take and put over in the Mayetta house, and then we would transfer them back to here. So we've been.
This is a 1-year-old black currant plant.
Yep.
That's grown. We got 2 of these, and they're both doing.
And then
really, really well.
there's toothache plant just to
There's
the
2 what?
toothache plant
At the
to
bottom.
the right of it, and then to the left of it, it looks like a squash.
Yep. Looks like Where's Waldo?
There's all kinds of stuff there in that grass. That there grass.
Got their grass.
Yeah. The grass just keeps coming.
Yep. But these were interesting. The middle one, I just thought that pattern of that bug was really cool.
Yeah, that's here.
It's right next to the house.
Uh,
I took a picture of. And remember, we were out. B is considering getting some goats, and we were out there. I thought this was pretty interesting. They had this kill cone on this electrical pole in order to obviously to kill chickens. And you can see that it's been going on a while. I
Are
don't
you
know.
sure that's what that is?
Dave, that's exactly what that is.
Good grief.
I bet I could.
You just took a picture of that?
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. Why is there like a planter on top of it? So nobody gets stuck in it.
Probably. Oops, wait, I don't want that one. I want that one. There you go. Yeah,
What's
so
that
no
other
one
one?
gets stuck in it. I don't remember. I can't. It's all blurry.
Oh, that's the hops. That other picture was hops.
Okay.
Yep. These are birdhouse gourds. There's a couple of them. Are those cute? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How many birdhouse gourds do you see?
Yeah, Pete says, I see hair, sheep, and bees future.
Not hair.
Yeah, Gypsy says, considering. She's considering which ones she wants. She's considering the outcome. Yeah, right? Is that fair?
Right. Tag said you need some goats to get rid of this lespedeza, or you need to go cut the lespedeza. And I said, goats it is. And so he said he took me to a farm so I could see what a goat looked like.
Well, we went with Gypsy and Louise
Yeah.
to a farm. Yes. And had a good conversation.
Yes. And so we are considering some girls and a boy, perhaps. A
Mhm.
buck.
Yeah.
Some does and a buck and a wether to keep the buck company. during times of loneliness.
RN said, how are your bees doing? Our feral bees are AOL, missing in action. Yeah, we lost a bunch through the winter last year, but the hives that made it through were still doing fine.
Yeah, I need to get over there and mow just as soon as the mower is fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, our hair sheep look like goats, white goats. Buck goats, goat. That's like
Some goats get stinky.
Yes, they do. Yeah, I know.
I was told that they don't get, that if there's only one,
it's not
as bad.
Yes. Well, it's not collective stinky.
It's gross.
It's individual stinky.
What a weird trait.
Well, it's because they pee on themselves and then rub it all over.
Yeah, that's something that was how weird.
Yeah, I think this is a beautiful picture. What do you think?
Yes, and it's all the way to the other side of it.
Yeah, and what's growing on the other one over there?
Those are cucumbers.
Cucumbers.
So they're not even as tall as the birdhouse gourds. But I did get a good harvest. I mean, for refrigerator pickles.
Squatchy says our bees swarmed and left, but we did manage to keep the angry bees in the main barn. Yeah, Mo says goat milk in your future. Well, actually, this is the only reason we're getting a boy, because I won't be able to keep the girls in milk if there isn't a boy, and so, that's kind of.
And he was raised off of goat milk, so I'm like, "Are you going to drink it?" And he's like, "Heck yeah!"
Oh, it isn't even just that.
And he's like, "And cheese and." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, I mean, it's ice cream and cheese and sour
Let's
cream, and yeah, it's
goat ice cream.
Yeah. You use goat's milk for soap. Why do you use goat's milk instead of cow's milk?
No.
Because it has a higher fat content, which is what makes it superior in making things like ice cream and cheese and those other things.
Well, I'll learn it. I didn't grow up with goats in my kitchen, babe.
Well, our hair sheeps don't stink. Gypsy says weathers don't stink, but the intact bucks do. Pete says get a couple girls and a boy for the win. Yeah. RN says killer bees have been found 2 or 3. Yeah, Mo says goat milk is awesome. See, yogurt. I mean, there's just stuff you get.
That is pretty cool. I do yogurt.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm pretty excited about the proposition of that. What you got going on there?
The possibilities. Those are Buffalo Seed Company zinnias.
Nathan Pickerel, hello, says no goats in Odo.
No goats. I grew up with Nathan. Hello, Nathan.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
These are the zinnia seeds from the Buffalo Seed Company.
Oh, cool. They're beautiful.
They are.
And they are everywhere. Absolutely everywhere.
Well, so when I first started growing for her, she gave me a Ziploc baggie full of them. And I started sprinkling. Have been saving them for just this purpose. So I started sprinkling them along the fence lines.
Mm-hmm.
I sprinkled them along with the beans. Where else? So the zinnias, marigolds go with the apple trees, and the zinnias go with the pit trees. So the plums, what's a pit tree?
Peach, plum, apricot.
Those get zinnias.
Cherries.
So I put zinnias with all of those trees for companion plants, and then the marigolds with all the other non-pit fruit trees.
Pete says, I thought for sure Loper would chime in with all of this goat and sheep milk talk.
What we could be making? It'd be like Forrest Gump with his shrimp. It'll be with the goat milk.
Goat this and goat that, huh?
Mm-hmm. Goat milk, chocolate milk.
What do you got there?
That is the borage
and
basil. The basil's gone to seed. So Jess came over from American Roots. We went through the tomato plants, and about every other tomato plant had a basil plant with it. Mm-hmm. And we were able to harvest a whole bowl full of basil. So she took half of it home and I think she was going to make pesto. Do you like pesto?
That's all right.
I've never made pesto.
There's a lot of things you've never made.
There's a lot. There's a lot I don't know how to make.
Yeah, I'm in the mood for some manicotti.
That would
did you write that down?
Nah. It'll change tomorrow. Oh, but you see that tomato there, it had blossom end rot.
This one here?
When I was in there, I found that the Cherokee purple had blossom end rot. And so I got the milk out, which was the same milk that I used last year. It was powdered milk. And last year when I went to use it, it was all powdered and it was beautiful. And I took a scoop up with me, and I just took a scoop and put a little bit at each plant, just the powder at each plant. And I did that right before it rained. And so then it rained, and then the powdered milk turned into, fertilizer for the food, or for the tomato plants. Well, I don't know why I didn't think about this. So when I went to get the milk this time, it was one solid chunk. And I went to hit it on the step of the deck, and it literally moved the board to the deck. And I was like, whoa, don't do that again. So I took it over to the concrete step, and I banged it one time on the concrete step, and it just like broke in half, like a geode or whatever.
It's like a geode. Wow. A geode.
I just went
wow
into 2 pieces.
Oh my
And I was like,
goodness.
dang it. And so I thought to myself, okay, so if I just throw water on it, it would just mix into like milk real quick, and I'll just go and pour it on the plants. Well, about like 45 minutes later, I'm like trying to like mix up this milk that was not reconstituting at all. So I had to like makeshift a strainer to scoop the chunks out and then like mash them and then put them back into the water and try to stir them into. It was the worst. It was awful. By the time, as soon as I put the water into the first little bit, I was like, oh no. That did not work as I thought it was going to. I don't really use powdered milk for anything. Like I don't make anything with powdered milk. So I'm not.
I didn't know you can make it out of geodes. Yeah, learn a new shit every single day.
It just broke in half.
Yeah, you guys know you can solve blossom end rot in tomatoes with geodes.
With milk.
Yeah.
With milk.
So at any point in time when it was all crusted together, did you ever consider putting it in a bag and just beating on it? Breaking it apart?
When it was a big, hard. That's what I said. I tried to. I hit the back deck with it, and it moved the board. It moved the board.
Lazy Loper,
like,
Loper says she's working. Well, I think Lazy Loper, I think what Pete was really trying to say is you're not multitasking very well. That's what I think. Or in his words, you're on vacation. That's true. Yeah. Nito says it sounds like you got moisture in it. And Dana says use Epsom salts for blossom end rot, which you have used in the past, right?
I've put it on for other issues. I've not. When I had the blossom end rot with the buffalo seeds, Nancy's suggestion was to put milk on it. And actually what she told me to do was put like liquid milk on it. But because I had powdered milk, I was like, oh, hey, I'm going to try this. And when I told her what I did, she was like, oh yeah, that'll work. So because I still had the powdered milk from last year, and yes, I think moisture got into it, which was the worst part. Because my bucket had a crack in it and I didn't know that.
Yep. Water, time, and pressure, right, baby?
Mm-hmm. Water, time, and pressure.
Right. I mean, it dug the Grand Canyon, right? Carves diamonds and gold, and it takes geodes and turns them into powdered milk.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Pretty exciting, I think.
Thanks, buddy.
I got a hold of me some big hedge logs, and these are going to be the legs for building the kids' playhouse at the community building. This will be a project that I do coming up here at some point.
At the warehouse.
At the warehouse. Oh, that's a whole nother story. At the warehouse. So why are we now calling the community building the warehouse?
So we can store stuff in it. It was I don't know, the commissioners wanted it to be called the certain thing. Yeah. And if we call it a certain thing, then they'll be happy. And if we don't call it the warehouse, then we have to like jump through other hoops just by calling it something different.
Prior to our July 5th event, I was sitting right here in my computer, and I got a message from somebody that said, hey, they're talking about you and your community building at the commissioners meeting.
The commissioners meeting.
So I said, cool, I'll be right there. So I threw my shoes on and I drove over there and walked right in, and their eyes got big. Like, what are you doing here? And so one of the commissioners starts telling me about how is my property zoned right and blah, 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 blah. And they're concerned about the use of the word community building. And I told them it's semantics. And what would you like me to call it? And said, if you want me to call it a warehouse, I'll call it a warehouse. And now it's been a joke that it's the warehouse. But as soon as I went in there, they backed right down and said, no, it's fine. Have a good day. Tag, off you go.
Well, I mean, it would be different if we were, selling stuff out of there,
Right.
or if we were,
Right.
I don't know, what else would you do to get money from it? Doing commerce.
Yeah, commerce would be the issue,
you're
but we don't do any of that.
Right.
So they have no.
We invite friends over and we eat food.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
In a one big open room. So
Have food stuff.
it's and that's the thing. Like, people bring their own food. So it's like, what are we doing that we shouldn't be doing? If Susie brings potatoes and Janet brings bread and I have some hamburgers and we put it all together and we're all friends about it, I don't understand what the issue is.
Yeah, Carrie Davis has called it church, and there's a lot of brilliance in that, right? Because you get into the other.
Well, we say prayer.
This is important because you get into like what we were talking about today earlier with the First Amendment, right? You have the Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. That's what it says. And so you get an extra.
But then you have to pay taxes or dues or something if it's a church.
No,
right?
I think what they could do is push you into filing for a nonprofit and going through that,
But we are a nonprofit.
Yeah, but
we don't get no profits. It actually costs us money to do that.
Yeah. So that'd be something worth looking into, Carrie Davis, for sure. Sounds like a wonderful get together. You're talking about me and the commissioners. It was a wonderful get together. But anyway, so these posts, the picture does not do them justice. They're massive. They're like the posts that were on the front of the community building warehouse. Sorry.
The warehouse.
The warehouse.
They're 2 hay bales long.
Yeah. And they're average 12 to 13 feet long, but they're massive. And so they're going to be the main supports for the kids' playhouse. And I'm hoping to give them more things to do down at the warehouse.
While we're eating and saying prayer.
Yeah. We talk all the time about being perpetually sustainable, and being perpetually sustainable absolutely involves the youth and then beyond, right? And so I think it's important that we spend a considerable amount of our time and attention and resources on catering to youth.
Yeah.
So this ought to be I think this will be a pretty fun project. Can't wait to get going on it. I've just got other things going on right now, but hopefully before the fall event, I can have something up. That would be ideal, or at least in my world, that'd be ideal. So.
That's right. We have a couple of ladies working on planning the fall event.
Yep.
We don't know the date yet. They're gonna.
Yep. And for those ladies who are in the audience and who are listening to this, I would love to know a date, because if I have a date,
they're working on it.
I can begin to put the rest of that stuff, some of the rest of that stuff in motion.
Yep.
Most of the best churches are nonprofit. The regs are used to control the church 100%, but just curious if the county knew that I was using it for a church. It would just be interesting how that gets zoned, and are there zoning issues and those kind of things, because you are inviting the public in. I don't know. I don't know enough about
take
this.
like donations, right? What are the tithes?
Right. And if you're not a nonprofit, then those tithes are a taxable event, I think. So in agreement says if you go to 501c3 or whatever those numbers are, then you have restricted speech 100%. Yeah. A children's church. I don't know. I mean, I think that there's definitely something to all of this. Much more research needs to be done.
Yeah.
On it. Yeah. Scott just says no church should be nonprofit. Yeah, but unfortunately, I think what they would do is make you go down that road. But it would be something interesting to see, right?
Yeah, you just have to do research to figure it out. And then try. And that's always usually
RN says just because you're a church doesn't mean you have to be a 501c3. So can you elaborate on that, RN, anymore? So what you're saying is that it's fully legal to have a church and not be a 501c3? And then if you are recognized as a church, how does that change zoning and things like that? Packrat says RJLUIPA laws. I think the acronym is Special Protections for Religious Institutions Against Zoning Laws. Yeah, this would be super interesting. I just wish I knew more about it. And unfortunately, I just do not. But so, I'm sorry, bud.
Me neither.
You me go back?
Nope.
Okay. So we had another really cool thing happen at the in the community. So we got a refrigerator donated to the warehouse, which is pretty exciting. B and I bought one, and then we had one donated. I'm not going to mention who did it because I don't know if they want me to tell you who did it or not. So I'll leave it there. But if you can see, the first picture is me and the skid loader hauling the one of the refrigerators down to
the community building,
the warehouse.
Oh, yes.
You're the one that started that shit.
The warehouse.
Okay. And yes. But one of the rules I have in a skid steer, or I try to live by, is never be empty. And so if I'm going down there with something, what do I have down there that needs to come back? And I just thought I would share this with you guys because, you know, it's about energy management. And if you can always stay loaded in your equipment, it just takes way less money to run it if you're just constantly full. And so anyway, I drove down to the refrigerator and came back with the dumpster. So we have a dumpster here at the farm, and they emptied it today, by the way.
Oh, thank goodness.
And but it sits up by the road so that the trash truck can get in and out and deal with it. But during events, I pick it up with a skid loader and I take it down to the warehouse so that trash is close.
Yeah.
So when you're cooking and doing those kind of things that we have, you know, reason to do that. And then I just got to pick it up and I got to haul it all the way back up there, which is fine. Let's see here. Tag, you could be the high priest of the church of the painful truth. Yeah, I would not make a good high anything when it comes to spirituality. I struggle so much, Carrie. And the good news is there's a lot of people in our community who don't. But for me, I just struggle with it. So, but if you want to talk about how the education system's wrong, I'm a pretty good guy for that, right? Yeah. Or whatever, you know. You can have a church in your home or the local school or in a barn. Yeah, I know you can have, I don't think there's an issue with having, you know, a study or those things, but I think if you were doing it all the time, advertising it local or whatever it is you may, I don't know. I will find out, Arne, and I'm going to look into it. But if any of you guys have any actual statutes, and no offense, but just not what I think, but some actual something to read and look at, I would certainly welcome an email on that. Tag the letter NB at lifedonefree.com. I would certainly love to read it. Let's see here. Brett Boyd says the guys just got back from taking Dad and a few of his friends for his 91st birthday supper. How cool is that? Oh my goodness.
That's wonderful.
Tag, is the county giving you a hard time about the community building? No, they like to give me a hard time behind the scenes when I'm not there. But as soon as I'm there, they don't give me a hard time at all. And in fact, it was funny. They played their cards totally wrong. When you think about the gigantic chess game of life, by doing that and having me come in there, I'm on record telling them this is what's going on. They're on record of saying it's okay.
Right.
What they should have done is not done that and kept their options open. But now I have them recorded because every meeting, you know, it's being recorded now. And
well, it's on video.
Video. And so you can actually go to Jackson County Citizen Broadcaster. And guys, if you're not a subscriber over there, go subscribe. She's absolutely doing the right thing.
She goes to every single
one. And then we get a chance to use that. So anyway, two ago or whatever, this happened to me and I went in there, but they backed right down and it wasn't a big deal at the end. But
well, too, then you can see how your commissioners talk about you guys when you're not there.
Yeah, Packrat says Jonah struggled. The most interesting characters in scripture struggled. Yeah. Dana Green says just community night, whatever the occasion. Yeah, that's kind of what we do now. And they have not messed with me at all. Other than, I mean, they talked about it. I've addressed it head on. They backed off and are on record now saying it's perfectly acceptable. So we'll see. Yeah, Brett says, then why are you thinking about a church? Well, because what I'm interested about is, and I don't even necessarily know that I would use the word church, but a spiritual, designation. Does that change zoning? Does that change taxes? Is there anything there that would make it better than it is. Because right now it's pretty cool. I mean, I have to pay taxes on the building, but I'm pretty much left alone. So, yeah. Hey, real life trad wife. What's going on? So real life trad wife has two names, real life trad wife and also Cupcake Mom or mom of Cupcake. That's probably better, right?
I don't. Cupcake.
Sure, she loves that. So there's one, be putting one refrigerator in, which is pretty
I didn't
cool.
know you took a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to get all of the packaging off of there, get it plugged in, get it cooled down so that I could get the stuff from the other refrigerator and put it in, which I have not done yet. You see that water on the floor over there.
Yeah. One, up until this point, we were borrowing a refrigerator from another community member. And so it's nice it's nice to actually have it in there. It's permanent. That's just what it is, which is really cool.
Well, and there's two, so we don't have to use coolers with some ice in it.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, I'm sure we'll still end up doing that because if you put it there, we will fill it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Sharpshooter said Cupcake just glared. Yep, I'm sure Cupcake did glare.
Is that the boy?
No.
Is it the girl?
Remember the story?
No.
So we have a young adult lady in our community who has been a huge part of our community. You know, she films a lot of the community days, like a lot of the stuff that we get filmed. I don't film it; she does it, and then I just go through the footage and edit and put them up and those kind of things. But anyway, at the last community event, she decided to drop a cupcake down the front of her blouse, and
oh my
remember
gosh.
that? Do you remember?
I wasn't there.
Okay, and anyway, it was this big deal. So, you know, this community, you earn your nicknames, and you only really earn them when you mess up. And so
basically
pretty much. So Cupcake was born that day, and I'm hoping she just really embraces it. Right?
Yeah. I like that though. Cupcake.
I don't think she likes it. Although Sharpshooter says I'm pretty sure she likes it.
Then Cupcake it is.
Then Cupcake it is. Where's the other refrigerator? There you go.
Yeah, those look great.
Yeah, Brett says, I'll ask Dad if he knows what's involved in starting a church. He has been on several administrative boards. Yeah, I would love that.
Oh.
Yeah. Scotchy says, we love nicknames. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You can see my porterhouse and teal birdhouse in the back.
Yeah. That birdhouse in the back was created by Eric.
Well, his wife.
Him and his wife, right?
Rebecca.
Or maybe just his wife. Maybe Rebecca did it.
Yeah.
Anyway, at Porterhouse and Teal. And they sent it to us. And so that's their birdhouse. And it says Life Done Free on it and a whole bunch of cool stuff. I think it's pretty exciting.
I have a little tag on it too. It's like, it's numbered like, you know, the I don't know, 7th birdhouse in the series or something like that. And it has our light bulb on it. It has.
Yeah, one of these days I'll take a close picture. I think I've shown it on lives before.
Yeah.
Though. Didn't I?
Yeah, but it you can't see it close enough. It's.
Yeah, I think that's all of the. Oh no. There's that too. But real quick before I get onto that, is there anything else on your list to talk about? And then I'll get on to some stuff that's going on in our county, which I think is really cool. Well, it's good news.
The harvest. You didn't put the harvest in there? I got goji berries for the very first time.
Oh, you did? Did you eat them?
No, they're in the fridge.
Were they good?
I'm not sure. Is that a tick?
Oh, it looks like a piece of black tape or something.
Yeah, tape.
Paint, something. Here I am, cleaning her up.
I know. Nope, that's it.
That's it for that?
Yep.
So, something that's happened at our community recently that has kind of shook the community up a lot. And I'm not talking about the homesteading community. I'm talking about the geographical community. And if you guys watch many of my videos, you know, I'll refer to this as the MAG, you know, so not necessarily ours, but, you know, kind of our regional community. And this could mean, you know, people we don't even know, right? But anyway, so it's kind of shook up all of it. I thought I would share it with you guys. So basically, this is the actual resolution, and the commissioners here.
Are you trying to read that?
No, I'm not going to read it. I'll just tell them what it is. But I just posted it. So basically, what they are doing is they're trying to create a legal way for them to enter a property without the owner's consent, based upon belief that someone has not filed a permit, has not, some tax violation, whatever it is, right? That they have the right to do that and the right to seek an administrative warrant to do so, even so far as to be able to enter your home without your inside with, but only under the circumstances of an administrative warrant was issued by a judge. I've done a ton of research on this, and we're I don't want to say battling, that's not the right word. We are, as a geographical community, there's many people who have taken this fight up. Excuse me. Anyway, I think we're going to make some big ground on this. But to me, this violates our Fourth Amendment rights. And I've been very clear. I actually talked to one of the commissioners about this, made my point super clear how we felt about it and how this is not going to end right here. And we're going to see what they do with this, because the one thing, and I was actually proud of the commissioner in one regard, because when I talked to him, he said that he did not believe that it violated our Fourth Amendment rights, which it absolutely, in my opinion, violates our Fourth Amendment rights against illegal search and seizure. And we do have a reasonable right to privacy. And anyway, what he said to me is he did not believe that it violated our Fourth Amendment rights, but that he was willing to go back at it again, have another look at it again, have another conversation with the attorneys again, ask the specific questions about whether or not it violated the Fourth Amendment rights, and that he would reevaluate and get back to me. So these kinds of things, guys, although bad, right? And I promise you, these are going on everywhere. And in fact, I would argue that most places in the United States are going through these things, but we just don't know it because we're not involved, right? And then these regulations sit down. There's some other things that are in this that are pretty interesting. So one of the things is that now when you go file for a permit, like a building permit, you're giving them consent and you're agreeing to the terms of this resolution. Which to me, what that does is says, I'm not going to get a building permit, right? I've just done building and I'll keep it, all under the requirements of needing a building permit, which there's requirements in my county of the size and, all of those kind of things. But I'm not going, and if I did have to do it, I would specifically cross that line off on the building permit and hand it back to them, because I'm not giving away my Fourth Amendment rights, all because I need to go get a permit. So what they're saying is okay, you can have, we may allow you to build on your own property. May, and if we do, you're agreeing to the terms that we can violate your Fourth Amendment rights. And so, in addition, Indiana Mike says, or after receiving a complaint from an anonymous Karens. So also in this resolution is they can act on the complaint of a citizen. Well, you guys know how that works, right? Oh, we had a complaint from a citizen. Well, who was it? Anonymous. So what that really does is that allows the state officials to make it up. There's no way to check it. There's no way to check it.
Right.
So any of them can go, oh, we just had an anonymous tip. Oh, we just had an anonymous person. So this is really bad stuff. And, but guys, this is what I want to tell you. I want to tell you. Things like this are a great opportunity to begin to change things in your county, because when you get something like this that riles people up, and if you go after it, what'll happen is, and this is what I believe will happen here, is they're going to back down on this. And if they back down, it's a huge win. Because what that's saying is there is enough push in the county, right? What they have to recognize, and there's enough people watching, right?
But you're not getting away with it.
There's some really, really, really big wins that could possibly come out of this. I can tell you guys that we, not just as a community, but as a regional, kind of community, are not taking this lying down. This deal that they passed here is sitting on the desks of many people. I personally got it to the desk of the Institute of Justice, for example, at Washington, D.C., and they've agreed to take a look at it. It's sitting at the desks of attorneys. Now, it's sitting in some other places, but I don't know if the people that are working want me to mention it, so I will stay away from it.
Okay.
But there's a couple other big organizations, both in the state of Kansas and out of the state of Kansas, who are also interested in this. And so what's going to happen here, in my opinion, is either A, they're going to back off of this and they're going to say, okay, we're going to do it differently. The citizens didn't like it. And what a great opportunity for them. If they're smart, if I was the commissioner, what I would say is, hey, look, I don't believe this violated our fourth, but the citizens are so concerned about it that we represent the citizens. We're going to come up, we're going to find another way. I will invite all of the citizens to come down to the courthouse on Friday at 3 p.m. and let's have an open discussion about how the county ensures people are getting the building permits they're supposed to, how they enforce it without violating any of your rights. I look forward to seeing you then. Huge win.
Sounds like a plan.
Huge win if they're smart enough to grasp a hold of that and to do that, which I guess we will find out when the time comes.
Makes sense.
Yep. Nidos wants to know, does Kansas have the castle doctrine? It does. Yep. Brett says, oh, hell no, you aren't going in my gates. No, that guy's in the wrong country. Conservation agents have the right to do everything you said. No violation, can check for meat in your freezer, etc. No way to block it. Yeah, well, I don't know that I agree with you, Mo, that that's true. I know that it's written that way, just like a noxious weed person says they can come on your property anytime they want, that they don't have to have a warrant if what they're checking for is noxious weeds, right? So I don't necessarily agree that that's constitutional. Now, they do many things that aren't constitutional, right, Mo? I mean, there's many laws and things out there that we're subjugated to, but,
yeah,
you know, wouldn't hold the muster, but we're going to go swing and maybe we'll lose, maybe we won't. But
yeah, there's all kinds of other, I mean, you've got, potential biohazard contaminations of just people coming onto your farm. I do not wear outside shoes into my yard. My yard, I have chicken shit shoes that I wear into my yard, and that is what that's it. My Walmart shoes do not go into my yard because I don't know what I walked in.
Nito says
all kinds of potential hazards when strangers just come onto your area.
And what do they bring? What do they bring? What do they bring with them from the farm they were just at?
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things there, but it isn't even just that. You can make all those things you want. It comes down to a Fourth Amendment. Our Constitution protects us from our government against illegal search and seizure.
Yeah.
Period.
Codes too.
That's the end of it. Well, at the end of the day, the Constitution trumps federal law trumps state law trumps local laws. That's how it's ran today. Although you could argue that the founders of the Constitution wanted the middle two split, but anyway. Yeah, Brett says you guys need to band together and fight it. Oh, we are all over it. Yeah, his or her name start with a K. His or her name start with a K for which part? We do have a commissioner where the name starts with a K. Can't martial law do this also? Oh yeah, there's lots of laws out there, Carrie, that allows them in the case of an emergency to even seize all of your stuff. Right now, there's laws in place that would allow them to, in the case of emergency like this, to enter your farm. Don't even have to be martial law, just a declaration of emergency. Every time there's a big event and the government declares a state of emergency, this gives them then the power where they could walk onto your property, Carrie, take all of your produce, take all of your animals, take everything for the betterment of the whole. Those laws already exist, which I would also argue are not constitutional. Yeah, Pete says, would contradict the castle doctrine, needs to be reviewed. That's a good point that I had not brought up yet. But yeah, I will. Nito says insurance companies are using drones to fill properties, and that is being fought. Yeah, I hope that the people win on that one, because I think with modern technology and the way that it is, we should have a reasonable expectation of privacy, on our own property. And what does that extend to though? Because a 747 flying over your land, carrying people from Chicago to LA, fly over your property, and they look down on you, So, I mean, there has to be something.
Yeah, but they can't zoom into your property like that.
Yeah. They're not going to see a sunbathing out there in the yard.
No, but that whoever that was in that gray plane that was flying back and forth across our property, or you know what I'm talking about, that gray plane. They were close.
Yeah, the yellow one today was close.
Well, the yellow one was a crop duster.
Yeah,
that gray one was not.
RN says ACLU American Civil Liberties Union fights to preserve freedoms. Yeah, the one that I'm working with currently is the Institute of Liberty, and they specialize in property rights, which is why I'm talking to them. I sent everything to them. They responded actually pretty quickly, and they said that they are interested in this. Can I get a hold of a particular set of documents? I got a hold of them. I sent it to them, and I'm playing the waiting game right now. Yeah, Pete says, Karen or Kevin? No Karen or Kevin. We have a Keith.
But no, Karen. He was talking about, a Karen.
Oh, I got it. Let's see here. Local Prepper says 9 p.m. Got to go do my own live stream. Thanks for letting me hang out. Hey, I appreciate you being here. And hey, Local Prepper, let's do something together someday. All right. Good to see you, man.
It's 9 p.m. where he's at.
Yep. It's 8 p.m. here. Yep. You, Matt, have to go as far as putting together a slush fund for a lawyer. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that if we need to. I'm hoping that it doesn't get that far, but it is going to be an interesting journey because I think most people agree this is something worthy of fighting, and they are getting lots of heat. There's lots of, posts on the Facebook pages and stuff about, F around and find out, or, not by my cold dead hands. And, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. I don't talk like that, but there's a lot of that. Because
people people are going to protect their own.
Yeah, I think they will back down, and this is my opinion, but we shall see. I hope I'm correct. Mo says they used General Order 11 in our area to burn farms to the ground in 7 counties leading up to the Civil War. There was no compensation. Yeah. Well, I think at the end, this is the number one reason for community is right here. Because guys, standing alone, standing by yourself, you're going to get railroaded. You're going to get run over. If it was just like what we're dealing with here, if all this was me bitching at them, they wouldn't even give it a second thought. And I could threaten the Fourth Amendment. I could threaten civil rights. I could do all of that. The only way this works is a lot of people stand up. I encourage people in our community all the time. Call them, pick up the phone and call them. Tell them you don't like this. Send them an email, write them a letter, whatever, because as they feel that pressure, we can make some ground on the local level. It won't work any levels above that, but it will certainly work, kind of right there.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Oh, hey, Julia Withers, what's going on? So anyway, that's what's been going on in our county. And I thought I'd share with you guys here, if I can pull it up here, a couple posts. Now I've hidden the names on these posts because to protect the innocents. But so I put out a post right away on the local pages. So you guys know how every county has a page of, what's happening in that local area or whatever it is, which obviously, we're members of. And so this is the actual post I put after speaking to my commissioner. And I said, new search of property resolution. I've said and posted, I believe, based upon my research, that this policy violates the Fourth Amendment. I'll continue to pursue the answer to this question. With that said, I want to share that Commissioner Kelly reached out to me today. He shared that they did consider the Fourth Amendment and promised that they would look at it again. There are many things I don't agree with, but this is exactly what I expect from an elected official. He did not say he would change it, but he was willing to look at it again, and I applaud Kelly for this. I'm quick to point out issues. I will continue to fight for the rights of Jackson County citizens, and Kelly's outreach was welcomed, and I'm thankful. Our Constitution rights are absolute, and Kelly agreed with that because this is the discussion him and I had. I look forward to the continued conversation with the county. Please educate yourself on your rights. Please educate yourself on the work our commissioners are doing. An informed and educated response always wins the day. And then lots of flooding posts, came behind it. I want to read one that I think is really, well written, that said the county can now enter your home against your will. Resolution 2025-16 passed the Jackson County Commissioners on July 7th, paving the way for employees and even contractors to enter your home. The resolution is attached in the comments. You guys have already seen the resolution. And then I thought I would post to you guys the Fourth Amendment, because this is, I think, what they're violating. The rights of the people to be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effects. Okay, so your effects, your things are secure, right? Against unreasonable search and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause supported by the oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. So I really like this. I really like that there's been a lot of action. We're going to see, kind of what, happens to all of it. Nito says, hey, Tag, why are we not grid tying our solar? Not giving NV Energy the right to enter our property whenever, for whatever, without permission. 100%. Yeah. 100%. This gets into that whole conversation, that we have all the time about stroke. Right. Yeah. And lessening the stroke. If you're giving the electric company easement all the way down to your front door, they can come at any time. And guys, the way the system works, I promise you, just like in this resolution, the tax man says in the resolution that nothing they find will be reported to police unless somebody's in danger. No problem. Hey, buddy, over there, when you're going on there to look for noxious weeds, will you please take a picture of that barn? And they work and they collaborate together. And we have to hold our elected officials and the appointed bureaucrats, right, we have to hold them accountable. And the only way we're going to do that is if we do it all together. And if we get involved. And, this is why I've begun posting our constitutional rights in these local groups like this, to try to get a conversation going about what it actually means and what your rights actually are. Knowledge is power, right? And so maybe for nothing, but we shall see, right? Squatchy says everyone needs to do their due diligence. 100%. Problem is most won't, but if we can make it easy for them to learn their rights, maybe that someday they'll stand up, or maybe they'll do like most other Americans do, and they'll wait until it affects them directly, right? Before they, actually stand up. Look at that. I got through all your plants. That's pretty cool, huh?
That's wonderful.
In an hour and 10 minutes.
Wonderful.
That's pretty cool, right?
You're a fast talker.
I'm a fast talker. That's what happens when you bite me.
Don't mess up.
You scared me.
I think, no, you got sassy is what happened.
Yeah, I'm fearful for my life, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You guys would be too if you lived with the Mongolian slave lord.
Do as you're told. Comply.
Yeah, isn't that funny how we just trade one master for the other? Spend all my capital, all my energy getting off grid, trying to get out from underneath some master, and then
you have a wife.
Then I have you. Right. So I went from a constitutional republic to a democracy to a dictatorship. How do you feel about that?
I think that if it wasn't me,
are you okay? You gonna make it?
If it wasn't me, it'd be somebody else. You're just a lucky fella.
Pete says, I am the Mongolian slave lord. Ask the Loper. Well, clearly you won't even let her comment on a live.
He's like, get to work.
It's Friday, it's night. It's time to put it all down. But no, right? Got to get more done. Got to get more done. Got to get more done. Right?
It's cooler.
Real life trad wife says it's all about choosing the right man.
Right
man. Mom.
Thank you.
Mom of Cupcake. Master's a big word, right? So let's see here. Pete says she's out there on vacation.
Doing her thing.
Yeah, Packrat says the calls are coming from inside the house. Right. That's pretty much how it works around here. Right?
Yes. That's a movie.
Is it?
Yeah. The calls are coming from inside the house.
Oh, is that Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer or I Know What You Did Last Winter or whatever?
No, it's the babysitter one.
Oh, I don't know.
Where she calls the police and have you checked the children?
I don't remember that movie.
Calls are coming from inside the house.
I don't have time to watch movie.
That was back when I was a kid. My mom watched that one. And she was like, no, it's too scary for you, honey.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it.
You want to get to some good news?
Yes.
So let's start by talking about the whole Epstein thing that's still been going on. You guys know I spent a lot of time, but I'm only going to spend one page on it or two this time. I'm not going to go so far into depth, but I do find it interesting that Elon Musk calls the Department of Justice finding that there was no Epstein client list as the final straw, and then right behind him, Joe Rogan comes out. So it looks like Trump has lost both Elon and Joe Rogan. Bondi and Patel promised all of this Epstein stuff on day one, and now it's suddenly a hoax. And so if it's a hoax, why did Epstein kill himself, and why is Maxine, still in jail? CNN reports Trump personally called top conservative influencers, telling them to tone it down on Epstein. And then all of a sudden you have Charlie Kirk coming out saying, I'm done talking about Epstein. I'm going to trust my friends in the government.
Nuh-uh.
Are you freaking kidding me? I just lost every ounce of respect ever that I would have ever had for Charlie Kirk right there. Just those words, absolutely, absolutely unbelievable. Trump's taken a lot of heat over this, and I think he's recognizing it. Laura Trump says the Trump administration will release more Epstein evidence. Wait a second. I thought there wasn't any. Right? But she says they'll release more Epstein evidence and we'll have more transparency. She says the President Trump hears the base on this issue and knows how important it is, and Trump will set things right. Quote, Laura Trump.
Yeah.
Trump later went on to talk about this is completely ridiculous, and even went on to say, based on this ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein. So let's stop right there. Are you telling me that the brutalization of innocence is ridiculous. What is more important than that? Tell me what is more important than protecting our kids?
Yeah, it's corrupt.
Yep, he went on to say, have asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all permanent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. This scam perpetrated by the Democrats should end right now. And he's been on to talk a lot about how they've scrubbed the list and now it's Obama's list and there's just no point in putting it out. It's not real, etc. And to Mo's point, Glenn Beck has said similar things to Kirk. Hey, RN, good night. I know 4 a.m. Come early. Nito says, Tag Hubby wants me to tell you the electrical engineer now wants almost $5,000 to look over and sign the electrical plans for our solar. We can't win, it seems. Oh, my God. You guys, you need to move. The number of problems that you guys have had with the regulatory process of just putting a solar system in is insane. I've experienced it nowhere else in the country. Man. Brett Boyd said, I think the Dems have had years to change the investigation. And on the other side, this reminds me of the OJ trial. Mm. So let's say they've changed it. Let's say that. Just release it all. Let the hounds go after it because there's a lot of smart people who can look into the forensics, that can do all this stuff. Let it be out there. What's the harm now? I think if you want to build trust in the government, and this relates right there to my local county, be transparent. Just like I said, what a great opportunity. If I was the commissioners, as I mentioned, I would come up and say, hey, guys, I heard you. Got it. Let's have a meeting. We'll have a conversation about it. Easy, right? But instead, we get to go through, this incredible amount of silliness. The filth in the hobby of the richest overlords behind the scenes. That's why no one will touch it. Well, okay, Baccarat, let's assume that you're true. You're right. And I agree with you. You're right. But let's assume that that's right. Then that means the system cannot be fixed.
Right.
What that also means is they're never coming to your aid. What that also means is you better get your ass busy. Right? If you're willing to say that they're not going to prosecute or release information to protect the most innocent of us. If they're not willing to do that for political gain, then tell me how in the world you have any hope, any faith of any kind in our system whatsoever. You can't have it both ways. You can't argue both sides of that argument.
You're not voting your way out of it. You can't. It's not. And what we're seeing right now is proof to that.
Yeah, I don't see how you can argue both sides. The government is bought off, and the power can't be stopped. Again, I think this is exactly true. And well, as Packrat just says, they're true. So what are we doing about it, guys? If we know with 100% certainty in the core of our hearts that we're not fixing this.
Yeah.
If we know, what are we doing right now? And if we truly believe that, why is all of our efforts not built around yoking up, building systems, building infrastructure, building resiliency, growing our own food, raising our own, right. Educating our own kids? Why is that not massive?
The system is not designed for us to win.
It is not designed for us to win. Yeah, G. John says the Late Show is canceled a year from now. So sad. Yeah. This was actually interesting to me because we talk a lot about lawfare. And this again gets right back into what Packrat was talking about, is how it's all about politics, right? But Stephen Colbert's last opening monologue before he was canceled, Jeffrey Epstein, and how he had an elite network of trafficked children. This clip is going viral after the CBS announced that they are canceling Colbert's late night show. So basically his last conversation, his last monologue was about the Epstein thing. Bam, he was canceled and seen headed out to his car. Donald Trump went on to say, I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next, has even less talent than Colbert. Greg Gutfeld is better than all of them combined, including the moron on NBC who ruined the once great Tonight Show. Is this lawfare, though? Right? Is this the power from the top going, we don't like their voice? Guys, I'm going to tell you something. If we applaud Republicans and conservatives censoring the voices of Democrats and liberals, we are no better than they are. Freedom of speech doesn't stop and start at county lines, nor does it stop and start at political parties.
Right.
We have to be willing to stand up for all of that. Right? I'm not a Colbert fan. But if this was lawfare and he was canceled because Trump and the Trump administration or whatever, the deep state, whatever you call it, weren't getting their way, this is another great sign that it said we ain't stopping any of this.
You're not.
You
There's
know?
no. I mean, do you need more signs?
Yep. The first step in making a society better is caring about things that don't affect you directly.
Right.
And until we get to a place where we can stand up on principle, we're not going to make any difference. Let's see here. Yeah, Mo says stop supporting them with blood and treasure. I couldn't agree more. And that is an almost impossible thing to do, you know, and specifically to the treasure part, you know, and I think Mo's got it 100% right when he talks about creating a life where there is no income. If you have no income, you pay no tax, right? But trying to find a way to get there is, it takes a brilliant person to get there. Brett says, I was talking with my father, he's 91, and I asked, how long has it been going on? He said he remembered his dad talking about it.
That's 100 years.
Yeah, they are not afraid of the Almighty and his judgment, but then it's too late for them. No, the system was set up for we, the people, to have power. It's the deep state of the elites who are making the rules so they have the power. Yeah, the system today is not designed for us to win.
Right.
100%. Now, the original system, we the people, which is again why we have to stick to our constitutional rights because they're brilliant in so many ways. And they absolutely apply just as much today as they ever have.
Right.
You know, but today, unfortunately, the system is not set up for you to win. And there's a million examples to that. Brett says Colbert has become irrelevant, so they canceled. I hope that's true. But I sure see that's, you know, kind of an interesting coincidence, Brett. We've had a lot of coincidences lately. And the older I get and the more I listen to the system, the less I believe, the less and less I believe in coincidence. Big stuff going on lately with CBDC, central bank digital currency. I don't know if you guys are aware or have been following it. Oh, wait, let me get to Mo's comment. This is important real quick. You don't need to go to no income. Just minimize it as much as you can. Yeah, this is the backside money argument, Mo. And again, I've probably had this conversation more with Mo than anybody in the world as far as how this all works. And he's exactly right. I don't think we can ever go to zero income because there's still some things you have to do, right? You still have property tax. But at the end of the day, this would be a great goal to be asset rich and income poor. Anyway, so back to the CBDC. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there was 3 new laws that were passed this week while everyone was watching and complaining about the Epstein lists not being erased. There was basically 3 of them. And so the rub is that a central bank digital currency would give unelected bureaucrats in our federal government absolute control over your money. This is wrong. Yesterday, the House voted 219 to 210 to block the globalist tyranny from infiltrating America. I'm going to go further and explain the anti-CBDC Surveillance Act, which is what they're talking about. Congressman Ben Cline says this common sense bill blocks the Federal Reserve from issuing central digital currency without Congress, protecting your financial privacy and stopping unelected bureaucrats from imposing CCP-style surveillance tools. What did he just say, though? Let me read it again. A central bank digital currency without congressional approval. So no, it didn't. What this effectively did is it moved the power of the purse away from the Federal Reserve, which is a private organization, and put the power of the purse in the hands of Congress. That's what it says. I'll read that sentence again. This common sense bill blocks the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency without Congress. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene says the Genius Act, which is the second one they passed, the Senate passed, has a hidden backdoor for central bank digital currency. If this passes without a full CBDC ban, the government could one day freeze your money and freeze your account and take your money at will. We need safeguards. And the argument she's making is it did not absolutely ban CBDCs. What it said is it was up to Congress. That's all it says. So they're saying that this is a great thing, protecting us against CBDCs, and the way they're going to protect us about it is they're going to take the control of it. How could that ever go wrong?
How could that go wrong?
Right? How could that go wrong? So let's dig a little bit deeper. So the first one,
Well, they're giving their money already. So
which was the Genius Act, is supposed to bring clear rules for stable coins. Okay. So it has back-end reserves, monthly audits, Fed and Treasury oversight, and protection for users in insolvency. So again, that's guys, you got to read between the lines of the things that they say here, right? Fed and Treasury oversight, right? Monthly audits. This is just another way to tax it, another way to control it. The Clarity Act was also passed. The Clarity for Payment of Stablecoins Act goes even deeper. It defines what a payment stablecoin is, okay? And then it sets who can issue them, and describes the Fed, right? The SEC or the Treasury jurisdiction. So that what they're basically saying is, okay, now in stablecoins, who's in charge, who regulates them? And the answer is the federal government. And again, we talked about the anti-CBDC Act, which was the third one, and it's exactly what it sounds like. The firewall to stop the Fed from launching a central bank digital currency. It's right. It stops the Fed from doing it, right? Donald Trump went on to say, vote for Trump. Bitcoin mining may be our last line of defense against the CBDC. Biden's hatred of the Bitcoin only helps China, Russia, and the radical communist left. I think it's so crazy how this is, all worded against. He clearly said, is the last Bitcoin maybe the last line against CBDC, and yet why did they not outlaw it? Why did they not outlaw it, right? Brett Boyd says that's why we have the Second Amendment. That is exactly why we have the Second Amendment. The CBDC, another control thing to control the people. Now, Americans don't want government-controlled central bank digital currency. I think that's right. I don't want it. And again, here's the thing. So we've talked this whole time about the Great Reset really is what we've been talking about, right? We really have. We didn't use those words, but we talked about, hey, the Epstein files, if you can't stop that, what are you going to stop? We talked about, all of these things, even in all the way into these laws. And the fact of the matter, I think you have to come down to the same point, which is you're not fixing it. They're going to control it. So what are you doing about it?
Right.
You can choose to live on your knees or you can choose to live on your feet. And they're both hard,
yes.
Right? Going to work every single day for 40 years, right? To pay for a mortgage on a house I don't own, to pay for a car that I will never own, to pay is hard. So is getting up every morning and going and pulling weeds, right? But I think you still got to choose your hard.
Choose your hard.
What is unnerving is that so many want it all to go digital. They're working hard to tokenize all assets, and it's super bad for us. It's super bad from a national security perspective. It's super bad from a freedom perspective. I don't see any way this is helpful. This is a way to ratio cash. Actually, I would argue it's a way to eliminate cash. He says ration cash. Okay. I think it's a way to eliminate cash. Because once you eliminate cash, you can't go buy anything at a garage sale without swiping your phone. As soon as you swipe your phone, that's a taxable event. This is no different than my county right here, trying to go and fly over and film people's, places and walk through their gates unannounced without, consent so that they can get the proper amount of tax revenue, which is really what the whole thing is about.
Yeah.
They don't care what you're doing on your property as long as you're paying, and they want to make sure you're paying to the up, to the top level that they can get you to pay so that they have more money to continue their programs, to continue to stay in power and to justify their very existence. This is why government always grows, because if it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you need them more and more and more. Right? And it's no different whether you're talking about it in the federal level or you're talking about at the local level. Brett says, look at what the EU just did. They are taxing the shit out of their people. But they get the second, so they can't fight back.
They give it the second.
Guys, we need to be holding on to the Second Amendment with everything we have in them, really all of them. But guys, here's the thing. If you don't practice your rights, you're going to lose them. If you ain't willing to go walk into your local county commissioner's office or the local sheriff's department or whatever it is, I had a conversation with our sheriff once about IDs, about legally being able to ID somebody. And unless you can articulate reasonable, as long as you have reasonable articulable suspicion that a crime has been committed, you don't have to provide your ID. That's the way the law works. But we got to be out doing these things. We got to be out here having these conversations. Get in your local Facebook page and start talking about freedom. Every town has a local Facebook page. We have to push these narratives, because if we don't, there'll be nothing left. Pete says they will eliminate cash. Well, 100% they're going to eliminate. You're never going to get out of $37 trillion in debt and over $200 trillion in unfunded liabilities. The only way you're going to get out of it is you have to crash it. You have to come up with something else. And to a thundering applause, we're all digital. Amazing to me.
Congratulations.
Hey, Zeus, welcome in. These people who scream tax the rich have no clue that it's not the rich that will end up paying them more. It's us. Taxing the rich is such a dumb statement. For anybody who thinks that, I'm sorry, but if you could tax the rich at 100% of their income, and it ain't going to pay for the amount of money we spend. It's a fallacy. It's an absolute fallacy. Let me tell you something else. All the rich people don't have any income. That's how smart people do it. Warren Buffett takes a salary from Berkshire Hathaway of $85,000 a year. All the rest of his money is investment income. The problem is you can't tax the investment income because as soon as you start trying to heavy-handedly tax the investment income, nobody will invest anymore.
That's the loopholes that Trump said, if you don't want me to use them, then why are they laws? You use them, I'm going to use them.
That's right. G. John says government doesn't want you to think about your rights and what they legally can't do to us. They don't. And most people just go along.
Yeah.
This is why we, as people who love our freedom, have to start thinking in bigger circles. We got to start thinking in loops and not lines. There's more to it out there. What good is all of this fight? What good is standing up? What good is all of these things if it dies with us? Tell me what good that is. Get up. Stand up. Take that step forward. It's actually quite empowering. Pete Squatchy has a great point. Define the rich. And more importantly, who defines the rich? The very people who've never run a business? The very people at the top trying to regulate it who've never done anything? They're going to define it? Great. Great. Super exciting. Yeah. Yep. Packrat says, and that's how they stay rich. Amazing to me. All right. Let's keep trucking, huh? What do you think?
And there's more good news?
Yep, there's more good news because, again, we talk about lawfare and we talk about how they manipulate things. And these are the kind of things, guys, that will turn me off on a politician super quick. You guys know I have lost faith in the Trump administration, and he's still better than I think Kamala would have been if what you're trying to do is buy yourself time. He's worse than Kamala if you go under the theory, if there should be trouble, let it be in my time so my children know peace. You get to pick one of those. We can debate it if you'd like. Trump said, we had a guy named Rand Paul Jr. He's known as Rand Paul Jr. in the House. He always votes no. We had somebody else that did him a big favor. And I said, sir, I don't think so. And so is going to vote. And I said, no, he's going to vote because I did him a big, big favor, very personal favor, as big as you can get, having to do with death and life. So many favors.
What?
So what Trump is saying is, look, I did you a favor, you do me a favor. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. This is how politics works. Because I did you a favor, you vote yes on a bill that's horrible for the American people. This is politics. And this is proof that politics is happening regardless of party, regardless of affiliation, regardless of all of those things.
Yeah.
It's one big machine and they don't care about you and they're not coming to help. They're not coming to save you. They won't be there if you need them. And the second you lose your value in their eyes as a taxpayer, their goal is to get you to die as fast as possible. Anyway, maybe I'm ranting. I think I'm ranting.
You do sometimes. But you're right. I mean, we see it time and time again.
The 20 plus million illegal they let in the country in the last 4 years will crash the social system. We got the EU on steroids. Yeah, there's a lot going on with this. There was a big report that came out about how the system has given these ICE agents the authority to ID and detain, period. No articulable suspicion, no any of that stuff, based purely just on how it looks. And the argument they're making is, if you look Hispanic or you look from South America, that's reasonable to pull you over an ID. So here's the thing. They have the responsibility of securing someone's constitutional rights until such time they determine they're not a citizen. They don't have that right. This is what I mean by standing up for people, guys, that really don't impact us in any way. And I'm not sitting here standing up for a whole bunch of illegal immigration. What I'm saying is we should protect the rights of the American citizen at all costs. And if that means that you just can't walk up and ID somebody, then that's what it means. You can have freedom or you can have safety, but you cannot have both. You have to pick which one you want. It don't work both ways. And they are not teaching our children this anymore either, so they don't know what their rights are. Well, of course, an educated populace is a dangerous populace. G. John says Obama's speech, Rokan on Virginia, on July 13th, 2012, President Barack Obama, if you've got a business, you didn't build that. Someone else made that happen. Yeah. Yeah, I should have known then, huh? Well, many of us did. Many of you did. All right. Let's keep talking about all of this.
The great divide.
Yep. So I've been doing some research on economics and a bunch of things and the different ways how they are dividing us. And so I thought I would share some interesting statistics that I have discovered. Some I knew, some I had just discovered. But so first I looked at the most expensive states to live in. And I think it's pretty interesting that the 3 single cheapest states to live in today are Kansas, Oklahoma, and Utah, ironically enough. Millennials now hold 4.8% of all the wealth. There are now 40-year-old millennials. The same age, Gen X had 9%. Okay, so at this age, Generation X controlled 9% of the wealth. Now millennials control 4.8% of the wealth. The largest generation in history, okay, because they're huge, did what the system told them to do and became the most educated in history, and now they're the poorest. Isn't that interesting? They can, if you went on and looked at this further, the boomers controlled 21%. So the boomers controlled a quarter, right, of all the wealth. Gen X controlled about 10% of all the wealth. And now the millennials control a little less than 5% of all the wealth. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy, they say. Mm-hmm. Guys, take them seriously. all you got to do is look at the math. This is happening everywhere. Sorry, baby. Happening absolutely everywhere. Let's see here. Oh, look at that.
What's the least expensive?
What is?
But what's the least expensive?
Kansas, Oklahoma, and Utah. Sorry, we are late, Freedom Friends. Nikki's food force needed to work and 5 yards of mulch. This is my buddy Scott. Super smart guy.
5 yards of mulch.
Yep. And his wife, we call her Command Hand for a reason.
Nikki's food force.
Yeah, she's a savage. Let's see here. G. John says South Dakota, after New Yorkers and Californians moved there because no sales tax. Hey, Grateful Hearts Ranch, welcome in. Brett says, tag, they know that's why they've flooded the country. We now have over 30% of the population of illegals. What is that last? The illegal total. Hey, Matt, what are you doing, buddy? Welcome in. Yeah, I don't know what that last part is. Yeah, we're going to talk about the floods a little bit tonight, too. Let's see here. This I found super interesting. You guys know how they talk about inflation, and Trump's been toting a lot lately that inflation is down. And so I thought, what a great way to do a little experiment, and let's figure out what they say versus just a common thing. And so I picked the Big Mac.
Okay.
Okay. So if you look, the price of a Big Mac versus the US dollar over a 20-year growth period, the price is up 116% and the purchasing power of the dollar is down 65%. So if you apply this exact same numbers, okay, not just in the past, but projecting the next 20 years, let's see what we come up with. So in 2005, the average New York income was $54,000. In 2025, it has grown to $70,000. In 2045, 20 years from now, the average New York income will be $90,000. Right. I'm just using math. That's wow. Right. Interesting, right? Now let's take the price of a Big Mac. In 2005, the price of a Big Mac in New York was $2.58. In 2025, in New York, a Big Mac now costs $17.79. And if you follow that exact trend in 2045, that Big Mac will cost $127. Oh my God. So now let's do the math. If you ate one Big Mac every single day, 365 days a year in 2045 in New York City, you'd spend 50% of your income on Big Macs. How's that sustainable? They're not going to fix it, you guys. I'm telling you, they're not going to fix it. Oh, he said chaos. Got it. So let's go back to that statement here real quick. He said 30% of the population is illegal, total chaos. Got it. Let's see here. Matt says, I'm sweating, cleaned out the bedding in the duck coop. I hate that job.
And it's muggy out.
Yeah. CNBC has put Tennessee at the bottom of livability. No sales tax here based on livability, alternative lifestyles, and worker protections. Unions not required here. Yeah. And Mo says you didn't add the additional health care you need for eating those Big Macs. Well, I would actually argue that getting free, one of the reasons getting free is hard is in the food department, right? Because they'll push you to becoming sick. and it's super expensive. Guys,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. Growing a tomato is not cheaper than buying it.
No.
And
it
the
is not.
only way it's cheaper is if you count your labor as zero. Which what person in the right mind would count their labor as zero?
Most people do, though.
Yeah.
Most when they do their calculations, most people do.
Yeah.
They
I can tell you from running businesses for many, 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 many years, labor is not zero. In fact,
No.
labor is your biggest cost. So, and that's true for pretty much any business. But anyway, Squatchy says they're going to keep pushing it down the road. And again, this is why it'll never be fixed. We're going to add $1 trillion. Probably by the end of the year, we're going to add $2 more trillion to the debt. They're not doing anything to fix it, you guys. Nothing. And they're certainly not coming to help. I think if you ate that every day, you wouldn't make it to 2045. Great point, Grateful Hearts Ranch. 100% true. Again, I just thought it was interesting to see, the growth of just something so simple as a Big Mac. Labor equals zero since we love what we do. Yeah, but it's still labor. Your energy coming out of your body is like a gas tank. It's a fixed amount, and someday you're going to run out of it. I just can't believe that to me is worth zero. Even if you don't pay yourself, there's some value, and are you getting enough value out of what you're doing?
Right, and you only have so many minutes in a day.
That's it. Yep. Speaking of minutes, what do American men and women spend time with over their lives now? And if you look at a study from the period of time from 2010 to 2023,
alone.
Yep, the time that they spend with their family, with their friends, with their partner, with their children, with their coworkers has steadily declined. The only category that's up is the time that they spend alone. This is interesting to me. I think there's a lot of factors in this, but a percentage of people having children in the United States has been declining, with a significant portion of the population choosing not to have children or being prevented from doing so by various factors. 47% of U.S. adults younger than 50 without children are unlikely to have children, a 10% point increase from 2018. 57% of young adults under 50 say that they are unlikely to have kids and cite they just don't want them as a major reason. 31% of adults ages 50 and older without children also mention they just don't want to as the reason for not having kids. I think another big contributor to all of this is social media and the internet. In 2014, the average time a person spent on social media was 53 minutes. In 2024, that time has grown to 143 minutes. If you added another 10 years to 2034, the average time of social media will be 325 minutes. And if you take that example out to 2024, the average amount of time on social media is 738 minutes. That's 12.3 hours per day by 2044, which means you're on social media, you're sleeping, you're eating, you're pooping. Mm-hmm. You don't have any time for friends. You don't have any time for relationships. You don't have any time.
Well, they use their social media as that's how they connect with their friends. That's how they connect.
I get that. How does the population continue if that's what you do?
Right. If it's all through screen time.
Yeah. By 2024, a 40-year-old will spend 94% of their awake time on social media. Absolutely insane. Let's see here.
Alone.
Yeah. Brett Boyd says if you create an uncontrollable situation, then they can't tighten most of the population into submission. I like that. Alone on their iPhone or Netflix. Yep. We get our health by growing our own. This I agree with. 2 hours on a live stream on Fridays. Does that count? Yep. Unfortunately, people.
That's your 2 hours.
Yep. I spend in my personal life, I really spend Friday. Fridays is my day. It's my day. I look up all the news stories. I build the live. I do all of that stuff. And then I spend my 2 hours with you guys. I saw a study that says 1 out of 10 girls 18 to 2024 have a OnlyFans page. Morality is done. Another reason why they're not coming to help. And this isn't going to get fixed. It's just simply not. I agree, Brett. Our morality is in the tank. Our financial system's in the tank. We're $37 trillion in debt. We spend more money per student than any other country in the world, and yet we test near the bottom. Right? Healthcare is another big one, which I'll wait on that one because I'm going to cover it, I think, either next or after that. Furthermore, on population, real quick, I don't know if you guys know this, but that map up there, the red countries is where more people died than were born in 2024.
Really?
The USA is not there yet. Would you surprised to know that it was China and Russia?
Wow.
Primarily? Japan? The percent of population that was born in 1980 is 2.4%. Oh my goodness, I missed an A in that first one. Oh no, I just swapped the A. Anyway, the percent of the population born in 1980 was 2.4%. What that means is that for every year, 2.4% of the population globally was born each year. By 2020, that number was 1%. So 1% of the population is going to be born every year. If you keep that trend going through, the percent of the population born by 2040 will be 0.25%. So 1/4 of the population will be born every year. And this puts us in a very, very bad spot because it makes there's fewer and fewer people to pay taxes, fewer and fewer people to do the work, which means the system will never be able to sustain itself like this, right? The little blue graph up in the top right-hand corner, that's actually the United States birth rate. Yeah. Since about
1800 to 2020.
Yeah, 1800 to 2020. Yeah. Let's see here. You don't need to be alone. You now can date AI. Right.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Maybe that would work for some people but to me, you miss that connection. You miss that laughing and joking about silly things. And those, I don't know. Scott says legacy. We need to teach our kiddos and grandkiddos how to be producers. Yeah. Producers of life, amongst many other things.
Right.
Right. Encourage them to have families. Encourage them to continue that on. Again, guys, all this works for nothing if it just dies with us. Yeah, this was an interesting graph that I copied and pasted in here. Hey, Nurse Wang. Yeah, Nurse Wang says, how much is social media time worth? I'd rather be picking a tomato. I would too. But I will tell you, there is some just like everything else, anything in moderation is okay. I think it's great in the time I get to spend, not just tomorrow and really referring to the live, but the time I get to spend with my friends, whether it's over the internet or in person, talking and doing those kind of things, Anyway, this is the state's dependency on the federal government. And I found what's interesting is New Mexico is the worst state in the union. And so what the state receives for every $1 paid in taxes. So in the state of New Mexico, for every $1 paid in taxes, they get $3.42 back from the federal government. And if you look at the blues and the reds, that's Republican and Democrat. And what this tells me as you look through this list, it really is a good fair mix. And there really isn't much difference between Republicans and Democrats. And because I brought this up, I'm going to take you to Kansas just real quick so that I point it out. Kansas right there ranks 33rd. In 33rd, as far as the rank goes, for every dollar they collect in taxes, they receive 89 cents from the federal government. But I think what's interesting about this is that they're all dependent, right? Now, let me get to some comments here real quick. Brett says the U.S. has made it too expensive to have kids. Last estimate I seen was that it would take $400,000 to raise a child from birth through graduating high school. G. John says humanity's turning point when AI decides we need to work to ensure they survive. Oh, I love this. Real life trad wife says, listen, Tag, I'm only one woman. Yeah, but there's some good breaks in there that you have not been pulling your weight. I mean, I don't know if you could be you might be able to be pushing pretty close to 20 right now if you really, really were committed.
There were no separations between bigs, littles, and mediums.
Yeah.
If it was just
yeah,
a yearly event.
Yeah. This was interesting. So a man I seen on Twitter said that he asked AI, if you were a human, how would you raise a child that doesn't become another broken adult? And according to him, which obviously I cannot verify this AI, but he says the AI said I wouldn't follow the current educational systems because the system is designed to raise obedient consumers. I would teach them the superpower of learning and how to learn. Instead of processed foods, I'd teach them to grow their own food. And instead of trusting pills, I'd show them how to listen to their body and fix root causes. I would teach them to question authority and to ask who profits from this information and to recognize propaganda when it's packaged as normal. I'd raise them with challenges and struggle because mental and physical muscles aren't built in comfort. I'd show them that technology is a tool, not a master. Most of all, I would teach them to be sovereign in money, mind, and body because the future won't be kind to those who are dependent. Now, I don't know whether or not this is true or not. So what I thought I would do is I would find out. So I went to Gronk and I asked him the exact same question. I said, if you were a human, how would you raise your child that doesn't become another broken adult? And this was Gronk's. I did this personally myself. This is just copy and pasted, snip clipped from AI. And this is what they came up with. Heal myself first, build a world of truth, not illusions, teach them to work, limit screens, maximize nature, hold a line with discipline, model sovereignty, let them experience pain, keep good spirit at the center, never lie to them, and let them go. So I found it was interesting to do the same thing that the internet was claiming was done. And although it's not exactly the same, there's a lot of similarities in the answers, right? There's a lot of AIs, so it's hard to say. That's Fox AI. No database who produced that output. Well, G. Johns, I'm telling you, this one I produced through ChatGPT. So this is its exact answers, and I copied and pasted them right here. So it did put that out.
Do you use ChatGPT often?
No, but stuff like this, and sometimes like at work, it's really helpful for some things. Like there's nothing wrong with AI if it's limited and controlled, and the people trump and individual rights trump everything else, because you can go in there and say, hey, can you give me a HR manual on tobacco products inside the building? And it'll just spit it out. And then that doesn't mean that's your final product, but now you have something to work from. And you go through and you edit it to fit your particular needs, and it saves time. If an AI said that, it has been shut down by now. Well, Jesus, I'm telling you, go to ChatGPT, type in exactly what I said. If you were a human, how would you raise a child that he doesn't become another broken adult? And this is exactly what it told me. Now, I would be curious if AI does this because of previous searches. Is this catering the answer to me? Would you get a different answer? I don't know. I don't know how all of that works.
Well, and if you used a different AI,
you'd probably get a different answer, right? Let's see here. AI summary, garbage in, garbage out. I agree with this. To buy doesn't have to be expensive to raise a kid. They want you to think you need all the bells and whistles, and you don't.
right?
100%. Wow, AI sounds like an old experienced parents and grandparents. Yeah, and Grateful Heart says AI is replacing Google in searching. Yeah. Yes, unfortunately, it is. Anyway, I thought this was a cool experiment. I'm not going to take my child raising process and look at the advice of AI to raise my kids. However, I thought this was pretty cool. You think that's cool, babe?
I think it's interesting how it all comes out.
Yep.
How you can type in whatever you want about whatever you said.
Yeah, and you can see it top of the
then
screen,
boom,
right?
it just pops out.
It says Chat GPT, and here's my question.
That's so dangerous.
Oh, I thought you'd like it. I like it. Anyway, so let's play some trivia. What's this map? I put this in here on purpose. This I thought was a very interesting map. I bet somebody will get it pretty quick. What do you think, babe?
The United States.
No, but what's all the yellow? What's it representing?
Pollen.
Do you think that's
I don't know.
pollen
like
from
pollen.
bees?
Looks like pollen.
Mm-hmm.
Bees.
I would say have a liberal person ask the same question, wondering if it forms the answer based on the user. See, I would be curious about that too.
Yeah.
But if someone takes that question and puts it into Chat GPT, we'll find out, right? Because that's the answer that it gave me. G. John says AI has been around for years. Google search is AI. All major companies moving to AI data centers across the U.S. to help people. Yeah, they are. Red Boyd says elevations. Well, that can't be it, Brett, because the Rocky Mountains would be much higher, right? And the Appalachian Mountains would probably be higher, kind of in the middle. Light pollution, that's actually a really good guess. Yep. And pack rat, for the win, population. That's the population density of our country.
Huh.
So the higher, the more yellow, the taller the yellow is, the more dense it is. And then it's interesting when you compare this to the cheapest places to live, they're all right here. Right? So population density may have a direct correlation to the cost. Every question you ask AI learns a little more from you. That's what makes it AI, right? Yeah. Liberal centers, population density. Yep, that was it. No cities, says Brett Boyd. All right. Let's see. Trump says President Trump has issued a bombshell directive tasking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Health and Human Services with seizing control of schools, special needs, and nutrition programs from the Department of Energy, blasting its bureaucracy for failing kids. So again, what's this saying is they're going to take the schools to the special needs and nutrition program out of the hands of one agency and put it in the other, and people scream and say, this is a great idea. I don't see how it's any different. Also, so you guys know, I think you noticed I've mentioned this before, Appeal was just approved in the USDA Organics certification. And in case you were curious, the founder and chief executive officer of the company, Appeal, right, is not Bill Gates. Bill Gates, a big owner, is James Rogers, who also is part of the World Economic Forum. Excited? Let's go get some Appeal.
No.
Right?
It doesn't appeal to me.
This is such a fascinating thing right here. Top employer in each state from 1990 to 2024. So in the first picture of the United States, if you look, the light blue is manufacturing. Okay? The orange is retail. So you could pretty much say, with the exception of Nevada, which would have been hospitality, that pretty much the whole country was mostly manufacturing and then retail. If you then look at the top employer in 2024, the purple is healthcare.
Oh, wow. National
spending on personal health care has increased 1,629% since 1980. That's more than $3 trillion. And the CDC today released a study that's sounding a critical alarm that 1 in 3 teens are battling prediabetes. So the number one employer is healthcare. And we have teens battling prediabetes.
Yeah.
And you think who you vote for president will have some impact on this. This is crazy. What do you think of that?
That's crazy.
Interesting correlation, huh?
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me about the teens battling prediabetes. I mean, their diet sucks.
Yeah, crazy. Also in more crazy news, breaking, this is SD Singer is under severe backlash after altering the national anthem and catering to gay people. What? So Unchi Wally, whoever that is, I don't even know who that is, changed the lyrics to the national anthem. So it was asked to sing the national anthem. Beautiful voice, by the way, I listened to it. But at the end, instead of Home of the Brave, they sang Home of the Gays.
What?
Yeah. To add further, Barack Obama says young boys need a gay man in their life for guidance and that having only a father just isn't enough. He believes being around gay men helps boys develop emotional awareness, empathy, and a broader perspective. Obama recalled that one of his most important mentors was a gay professor who shaped his views on compassion and humanity.
No.
Morality is broken. I don't remember who made that comment earlier, but that's 100% correct.
Usually they get their emotional.
Okay, we've got about 3 minutes. I'm trying to blow through this. Guys, get ready for a big heat wave. It's coming. This is the year of flash floods. There's 4,400 flash floods reported this year so far. Most years have an average of 1,900. Tornado Alley, I've continued to report on because I think it's interesting that it's moved. So far this year, Texas has had 145 tornadoes, Illinois 131, Missouri 117, Kansas ranked 12 so far at 41, and that number is declining because just a month ago I reported that they were at number 9. I think that's interesting. We recently had a bunch of rain here in Kansas. I don't know that if you guys heard this, but in some places like Shawnee, Kansas, which is in Kansas City, had 10 inches of rain in the period of 36 hours. So I thought I would just take a deep dive into what that really meant. A month's worth of rain in about 30 hours. Kansas City averages 4.5 inches of rain in July. Since yesterday, they've had 4.83. Kansas City broke a 57-year-old rainfall record on Wednesday when it more than doubled its previous record. Kansas, on average, has 36.88 inches of rain, and 10 inches fell in the matter of a day and a half in Kansas City. Right? And if you look at the number one rank of all time, in 1961, Kansas City, the state of Kansas had 60.25 inches of rain. So even in the very worst case ever in the history of Kansas, right, 1/6 of the amount of rain for the years fell within a day and a half period.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely alarming to me. I'm going to skip that one because we're about out. Oh, this one's super big. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, and I don't know if it's true or it's not true, but there are many, many, many posts over the last week that have talked about the herds of animals leaving Yellowstone.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Herds. And if you guys look it up, there's video after video after video. And I'm not talking about 5 animals. I'm talking about herds of 1,000 elk, like herds of animals leaving Yellowstone. I don't spend a lot of my time worried about these kind of things because if based on all of my research, if Yellowstone goes off, we will never see another live again, any of us. You know, few people will live, and the people that do, the existence would be horrible. So that's right. What do you think?
That's awful.
Yeah, I'm not going to read that. I'll just remove that. We're at 2 hours. Okay. So anyway, guys, I really appreciate you hanging out with me tonight and letting me rant. Because, man, this stuff gets me fired up. You know that?
No, you sound like it.
Yeah. You want to get us out of here? You got any parting words for us tonight?
Well, we kind of touched a little bit on it earlier as far as it's financially hard not to be a customer to the pharmaceutical industries, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're putting forever chemicals and dyes in our food and then making us sick, and then getting prescriptions to make us feel better, or even Band-Aided. It doesn't really make us feel better.
Wasn't that interesting how the goal is to eat shit food so that you become a client of the pharmaceutical industry, so that you die quicker, so that wash, rinse, repeat?
Right.
The system really isn't designed for us to win. You know, we went to school to memorize useless facts. They tell you to work 40 hours, you know, so that, you know, maybe get a job, you know, work 40 hours and maybe, just maybe, you can retire at 67, you know, if you're lucky. And, you know, most people do this and, you know, comply with this or don't change this because they're just simply tired of living in it. Right? This is not a life, guys. It's a script. At the end of the day, you know, we can exit the script, or we can just, you know, agree to stay in the script. But I guess at the end of the day, the choice is yours. Good night, everybody, and I'll see you in a week.
Yeah.
See you guys.